All right, let's talk about the second house. So to understand the first house, definitely check out the other videos that we have on first house. But let's now talk about the second house. Where is the second house? Right here, okay? You will always, always, always have your second house right here. So this will always be your second house, regardless of what number is sitting here. It could be a 4, it could be a 5, it could be a 6, okay? Then there's other things like nakshatras and all of that, and we will hopefully get into it in other following videos. But let me tell you about the second house today. As I mentioned in my previous video, this is always your house one, no matter what number is sitting here. You're never going to see this Roman numerals in any of your astrological charts. You will only see the numbers right here, the ones that I have in English digits, in non-Roman numerals. All right, so you see the number 2 there in Roman numerals. That's going to be your second house. Today we're going to talk about what is your second house, so you can understand it more. And then of course, follow along with the other videos. Say you pull up your horoscope and you end up having a Saturn, in your second house, your horoscope. So you come back to this video and you first learn what does house 2 represent, and then you go back and find out one of our videos that says Saturn in second house, and it will tell you what that is. We usually will have explanation there about the second house and Saturn as well, so you should be good to go if you just wanted to watch that video. But this video is for people who want to understand what is house number 2, or who want to learn astrology itself, Vedic astrology. So house number 2 here represents your family. It represents your family that you're born into, okay? It represents your early values that you grew up with that family. It represents your speech, okay? How do you speak? How do you project yourself? What comes out of your mouth? Things like that. So if your speech is good or bad, that will depend on the planets that are sitting in there and the Lord of the house. In this scenario, you see the number 2 there. So the Lord of the house is Venus, because number 2 is Taurus. 1 is Aries, 2 is Taurus, so 2 is ruled by Venus. Now keep in mind how the Kalpurush Kundli is, this is what I drew out. I drew out a Kalpurush Kundli. In the Kalpurush Kundli, these are the original home owners, and that's why I made it into a Kalpurush Kundli and not any different numbers. So the Roman numerals, as I said, represent your house numbers. The regular numbers represent the lords of the home, or who is the owner of that house. So now that we have house number 2, we're talking about your family, we're talking about your speech, and it represents your face, but more important, it represents your mouth, okay? What you take in. So your food is seen through that house, okay? Whatever food you take in, eventually when we talk about house 8, we're going to talk about the results of that in your body and what body part 8 represents also. So it represents your food you take in. It can represent a lot of your careers, it could be related to food industry, depending on what stars are sitting in there, what planets are sitting in there. Other things it represents is your values that you've grown up with, your family values that you've grown up with. Okay, the most important now, house 2 represents your wealth, your accumulated wealth, your bank accounts. That's what it represents. And it also represents your right eye, okay? The house 2 is owned by Venus, because Venus is the Lord of wealth, luxury. It gives you a lot of luxury, a lot of wealth in life, and good family it gives you. Venus is, it's very indulgent planet, so it likes to have good food. It likes to take in good food. It likes to speak well. Perhaps, if you have good planets here, you could be a singer also. You could have good sound, good voice. Maybe when you talk, people like to listen. So those are the good qualities of house number 2. So if Venus is, say, sitting in this house, or Venus is somehow the Lord of this house in your Kundali, maybe there's a number 7, and Venus is also the Lord of Libra, which is 7, those things will really give you an edge over other charts, because now you've got the Lord of the house, his original house, sitting in that house. Of course, if there are afflictions, or aspects of malefics, say Mars, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, those kind of impacts, then that would really impact. Let me give you an example. Say you have Rahu sitting in your house second. Okay, Rahu is only head. So Rahu and Ketu are what used to be one demon form, and I will give you more explanation in my other videos, or check out my other videos for more explanations. And then at one point its head got cut off, so the top was Rahu and the bottom was Ketu. So Rahu's only head, if you think about it, it's only thinking. It wants to enjoy this part of your it wants to enjoy your face, your head. It wants to rule your head, your mouth, your brain, everything. So whenever you'll see that somebody you will notice when somebody is going through the Rahu Mahadasha, Antardasha, Priyantardasha, that Rahu time frame, that they may have something happening with Rahu. Okay, you can be a little more sensitive to them at that time, maybe have a little more patience for them, but definitely reach out to us. We do personal horoscope consultations, so we can kind of guide you on that. But let's say you have Rahu in your second house. What's it going to impact? It's going to impact your speech. It's going to impact, because it's a natural malefic, okay? It's not going to be naturally benefic to you. And especially Rahu's maturity time is way past 42 years of age, okay? I believe it's 42 or 46, but it's way past that time frame. So when you're growing up from 0 to 40, if you end up with a Rahu Mahadasha or Antardasha or Priyantardasha, it will impact you a lot more than it may impact somebody who's 45 plus, okay? Or 55 plus, less impact, 65 plus, even lesser impact. So Rahu will give you perhaps malefic speech. Your speech may not be good. Whenever something comes out of your mouth, it's not good. People don't like it. Maybe you are not a good singer initially, you know, and if you do things that the planets tell you, charts tell you, you have good aspects, you know, you could get there. Perhaps you don't with Rahu. Perhaps you either have issues with your family or your family has issues with you. Okay, if you have that Rahu Mahadasha end up coming, that's kind of what you will see. But if you never have the Rahu Mahadasha end up coming, you will see those effects intermittently through the Antardashas or Priyantardashas that come during your big Mahadashas. Okay, so those things you will see. Say you have Saturn sitting in there. Say Saturn comes in when you're a child, right? That Mahadasha comes when you're a child. Now the effects of that will be seen more on your parents versus on you. Saturn is a planet, as I told you in my previous videos, it's elderly, it's a judge, it's fair. So if you have Saturn sitting, say, in your second house, what can you expect? You can expect your family to be fair. You can expect your family to be proper judge of character, to always be good, disciplined family. You can expect your family to be karmic, that they're going to do good karma. They're not out there to do something bad. You will see maybe some delays in your families. Maybe their work getting done is delayed, or you may have a delay in there. So those are the things that you see if you have Saturn sitting in your second house. Of course, watch my other videos on where I properly explained, you know, every single planet in every single one of your houses. So do check that out. But yeah, that's house number 2. I hope you enjoyed this video on house number 2. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, because we do videos regularly, so you don't want to miss out on it. And we do offer personal consultations, so reach out to us. And in our next video, we're going to talk about house number 3.